When it comes to anything that we are personally dealing with, we always have to bring ourselves to God in order to deal with it. Because anytime we try to deal with our own natural way, we will never overcome it.
It's funny that you said that because I was just sitting here thinking about when Jesus was telling them, if you have an art with your brother or your sister, you need to go and tell them. And I used to always think, be like, nah, I'm not going to go tell them because, I might have an issue with them. And then I'm telling you, well, listen, I feel this or that. You say this and that. And I was feeling this way and I wasn't liking you because of this, what you said or what you did. And then I always say, because then that would cause them to feel a certain way about me. So I used to always say, is that a good thing to do? Because, is that something that maybe I should just work out with me? That kind of thing. Maybe it's just something with me that I need to work out with me kind of thing and like work through. Or because I just felt like sometimes when you go tell a person something that it may cause offense with them, that you was what you were saying, but it is a good thing, like you were saying, to have that conflict, to get a chance to go ahead and work it out. So when you were saying that brought to my mind about when the Lord said that, and my thoughts on that scripture was like, well, is that really a good thing? Because it might just bring up more issues, you know what I'm saying, and more problems. Now that person got an issue with you and all you was trying to do was share your feelings, that kind of thing. So, but when you was just talking about that and talking about conflict and like working it out, and then y'all can work that out together and it will give that person that chance to be like, well, that's not what I meant, or it could have been told you, yeah, that is what they meant. But it will give you a chance to at least forgive them, even if they didn't forgive you, but it gives you a chance to get that out your heart for you can move on.
When it comes to anything that we are personally dealing with, we always have to bring ourselves to God in order to deal with it. Because anytime we try to deal with our own natural way, we will never overcome it. And for me to say that is because I'm going to give you a personal experience from me. My bitterness was from my relationship and marriage with my husband. There was a lot of things that I went through in that marriage. And when it was all said and done, I did have a lot of hurt and pain from it. But I knew, being a Christian, that what I felt wasn't good. So in order for me to get through it, I had to go alone in my own little prayer closet and pray until God delivered me from it. And it wasn't easy, and it was hard, and it was a lot of tears. But I got to a point in my life that I was free of it. And the reason why I knew I was free, because 2 years after being divorced from him, he came back to stay with me. And many people thought that I was crazy, that I allowed him to come back to stay with me. And I used to tell them that, it's not for my benefit that he came back. It's for his benefit, because of the fact that I had no more anger, no more pain against him. So I was able to allow him to come back and stay for the time that he needed so he can get his own place. But he still wasn't free. And by him coming back and seeing that I no longer carry that, it helped him maybe to see that I was changed or different, even though it didn't change him none at all. But it also let me know that I was free. And as long as you hold on to things in your life, you're never free.
That's
right. And I be free, because I can't be say that I'm a woman of God or that I'm a Christian and I'm holding on to things that's not godly and that God really doesn't approve of. And really, we have to work on that. It's not easy a lot of times people would never even understand. They wouldn't even understand your forgiveness. They won't even understand that you was offended and now you're not offended anymore. Sometimes people just won't understand it because it's all part of a matureness of also. And sometimes people are just not mature enough yet to even understand that they offended you and that maybe they need to apologize. And sometimes you may not even get the apology, but you have to know that your heart is clean. Yes. So I always worked on myself. I've been by my children, I've been offended by a lot of people, but I also know, just like I've heard my apostle always say, you can't wear your feelings on your sleeve. You have to have tough skin, because when you're dealing with people, when you're dealing with the world, when you're dealing with everything, your skin has to be tough, because if not, you're going to always be offended and you're going to always be hurt. And I had to learn that, because I was very sensitive, but I learned how to be tough, but not have the offense being tough. So when I find myself in a position that maybe people may say things and do things, that, don't get me wrong now, you know, I always have these conversations when I'm on the panel with everyone. I have to talk to the Lord. You know, I have to say to myself, okay, here they go. Now, Lord, you know, they trying to pull me to the left and I'm trying to stay right here, you know. So I have these little conversations in my mind because I know how I am. So a lot of times I find myself and I say, okay, Lord, here we go. So you're going to have to help me, Lord, because right now, you know, my flesh is telling me just go on and snatch the hair, you know, I talk to the Lord just like this. And I said, but, you know, I know this is not what you want me to do. So I have to overlook this person immaturity or overlook them and realize that either they're immature or they just don't know what they're doing or they don't realize what they're doing. And I always have to play the bigger part. So I always have to be the one that had the understanding and calm my flesh, because, you know, the devil's there on the sideline and he's always saying, go ahead, go ahead. So I know his voice and I know my Father's voice. So I have to say, okay, this is not the way I have to react. So, okay, let me calm myself down. Let me do a quick prayer in my mind, because I got to deal with this person. And I have to explain to them, okay, now maybe we got something twisted. So let me back up for a minute. I said this, but you came off across this way. And I don't know why you came across this way, but that wasn't, whatever made you feel that way, that's not my intention. So I want to clear it up so I can get across to you really what I'm trying to say without you being offended by what I said. So I'm growing in that, because the reason I say this, because I always have this type of conversation with my daughter. She's this person. She's very bitter and very offensive by a lot of things in her life. And anytime you talk to her, everything is like an argument, or it's very aggressive or passive, or it's both. So I always have to filter my way in when I talk to her. So her offense don't cause me to be offended, because she hasn't really mature in the area to get over what she's dealing with. So when I speak on it, I'm speaking on it from a personal view and dealing with it and lived in the house with it. So everything that you ladies said is true when it comes to a female or a woman, because we take everything to heart, because we are, you know, we are women's, and that's what women's are, very emotional. And that's our makeup and our buildup. So sometimes we have to understand that even when you're dealing with people that's not Christian, you tend to kind of override it a little more. And you, like you said, Pastor, that sometimes it's a little harder when it comes through your family or someone you know, but it's always harder that way because of the fact that the enemy knows they're the one who can hurt you the most. So when the offense comes through them, it's only to stagnate you, because he knows whatever they do towards you will hurt you more than someone that you really don't know. So it's always easy to get over that one, but you still kind of be like, all right, well, you know, I don't really appreciate that, but that's the person that we have to have the most patience with, is the ones that we love, because they will always be the one that will hurt us the most. So I'm just saying, me, I'm growing in that area and I'm trying to grow more in that area, really. So I don't be a person of offense and bitterness and hold or harbor unforgiveness in my heart, because there was a time that I was the type of person, if you were that type of person, I didn't want no dealings with you. It was like, okay, I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna stay far, far away from you. But in life, we have to learn how to mingle with all type of people and still be able to love them in spite of. So that's my.
But it's what you were saying about bringing it to the Lord. I was listening because when they were saying when you worship, you're supposed to worship in spirit and in truth. And so I always wonder about that, spirit and in truth. I know it's spirit, what do you mean in truth? And so I was listening to a teaching one time, and he was saying that it's not that God don't know what you feeling and what you think, because he knows everything. But when you sit up there and be like, no, I'm okay. I know the Lord loves me. I'm all right. Everyone's forgiven. I forgive everyone, when knowing inside you're saying, no, Lord, strike them down. Strike them down. Let them lose everything, because that's really how you feel. And, and it hit me when he was talking about that, the pastor I was listening to, when he was talking about that, that's when you come to the Lord in truth, because you're coming with your true feelings. And how can you be released if you don't tell the Lord your true feelings? Not that he don't already know, because he do, but you need to share with the Lord what you really feel. Like, yes, Lord, they offended me. Yes, I want you to hurt them, because this is really how I feel. I want them to lose everything, because this is what they put me through, because I'm hurt, I'm mad, I'm angry, or whatever the case may be. And for order for you to get released, so you can worship the Lord in the correct way. So for you can be able to release and be able not to be bitter anymore or offended anymore. And like that was like coming when everybody would start talking about bringing it to the Lord, which is true. And that's how you come with spirit and in truth to the Lord, because how can you worship the Lord when you still harboring things, even though you talk about, oh no, I'm fine because God is so good. Yeah, God is good, but you still hurting. You still hurting, and you need to let that go. And you can't let it go. Keep talking about, yes, everything is wonderful, because everything is not wonderful.
Thank you for watching Kingdom Conversation, Bitterness. Stay tuned for episode 3.
Everyone around you is affected by your bitterness.
Mm-hmm.
And
exactly.
You raise your children that way. You handle your husband that way. The people on your job, anyone that's under you, where you are authority, it spills out.
Whoever don't understand your silence will never understand your words. And for me, that was a struggle.
To have your topic chosen for our upcoming Kingdom Conversations, email us at kingdomwomanenterprise2019@gmail.com or tag us in your post #Kingdom Conversation. For more content, such as Getting Intimate with KWE, Women Empowering Wednesdays, Kingdom Conversations, and our workshops, follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and IG. We're Kingdom Women Enterprise, women empowering women.